All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kat Timpf Show. Today, I have 3 guests, and they are all also Timpfs. I brought my entire family here because they're all here visiting me for Thanksgiving. So I have my baby sister, Julia Timpf.
Hello.
I call her a baby. She's about to turn 22. I say baby because you guys are savages. And my brother Elliot.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, and then my dad, he's a repeat Kat Timpf Show guest, Dad Timpf.
Right here. By popular demand.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a couple people. We got a bunch of Natty Lights. I brought a bunch of Heinekens in my bag for my father because dads shouldn't drink Natty Light, I don't think. No. So it's a big day. It's a family day. We're all, and everybody, this is how this works is you just feel free to jump in. It's just like we're kind of talking at the dinner table. All right, we're talking at the dinner table, and we were also celebrating the death of Fidel Castro, which is a big deal. You guys all excited about the death of Fidel?
It's a good times roll.
Dad, Dad, I know you have opinions on this because you came with me to Fox today to do my hit at Fox, and you were seeing all the people on other networks or people elsewhere kind of saying no, there was some good things about what do you think, Colin Kaepernick.
Well, of course, most of the commentators had a negative view, and most of the people that have immigrated to the U.S. also have a negative view, especially the ones that have been here for a while. I did hear the argument that he was able to take some of the lower class people at the dawn of the revolution and give them medicine and things that they didn't have before, but obviously the country hasn't progressed, and it's for example, I think Geraldo was pointing this out. He had met Castro back in the early 60s and wanted to find some positive things that he may have been able to do for some of the people. However, it's pretty well known that he had people that disagreed with him executed, and that's
and also people who are gay.
Just that small little detail.
Yeah,
right. That's a problem. Despite any good you may have done or ideas you may have had, that really kind of ruins it. So. Yeah,
well, and also Colin Kaepernick was wearing that shirt with Fidel Castro and Malcolm X on it, and he was asked about it, and he said, "Yeah, well, they invested more into the prisons than education." It's like, but he's, you're supposed to be an anti-oppression guy. This, who is a little bit oppressive is tyrannical dictators in general.
I had never seen a Fidel shirt. I've seen plenty of the cheek shirts, but I've never seen.
Yeah, because he's not a popular dude.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah, I didn't know
it's
he was
a new
popular
one.
at all.
No, he's really
supporters in the United States. The best thing he did was probably taking Tupac after he faked his death or whatever. He fled to Cuba.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they some of the there is some Cuban-born guys that I work with in Texas that say when they return every year that they actually use toilet paper as currency because it's actually more valuable than the money, and that it's such a shortage that actually people will take that in trade.
Well, let's do that in the United States. Yeah. I'd love to not have toilet paper.
I'm pretty well stocked, so I've got,
How much toilet paper you got, Chief?
I always buy the, 100 from Costco.
Yeah, the one-ply Scott.
The gas station toilet paper.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Why do we always have one-ply toilet paper in our house?
It's time to move on in advance.
I really never noticed it.
The technology's there.
I never noticed the ply as a quality I guess I never read that. I just read the number
Dad,
of rolls.
less is more.
The number of rolls and not the number of plies. In fact, I don't even know what a ply is.
It's thicker toilet paper.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So, you guys, this is your second Thanksgiving in New York. We spent Thanksgiving with repeat Kat Timpf Show guest Ben Kissel, who was in rare form. He was a little bit out of it, but
we're seeing him again this afternoon in Brooklyn.
We're going to Brooklyn.
He's like that all the time, though. Can you say it's rare form?
Yeah. It is rare form. It's hard for somebody that large to get that drunk.
That's very true.
Yeah, absolutely.
He seems larger every time I stand next to him. I don't know if I'm shrinking or he's actually still growing, but
absolutely. So, what do you guys think of, New York City? Do you hate it? Do you love it? What do you think?
Expensive.
Yeah, that's what I took away from it, but.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had a lot of Thanksgivings in the past. People were, worried about talking about politics, and the worst thing that can happen is that you yell at each other. And I feel like, yelling at each other as a family, that's normal, right?
It's healthy.
It's how we all yell at, I mean, we've got, we all yell at each other in the family.
Yeah, not even you. You just yell sometimes. Not even at each other. You're just
It's
yelling.
at the world.
Yeah.
That's true. I yell. I'm a yeller. I get very grumpy at times.
Mm-hmm.
Some people handle that by yelling, and other people handle it some other way.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, but there's the only Timpf from our immediate family missing is Rigby Timpf. My brother got a dog.
Yeah.
You miss Rigby?
Oh yeah, a lot. I've
Yeah.
never been away from him this long ever.
So we've had pets. Other Timpf, we've had Axel, who's our dog, who died, and then we had a cat named Lucky that I found on the street, and I brought home, and Dad made me give him away to some lady that worked with Mom.
After a year. So
I knew that was after.
Actually,
It was a couple months, but Dad, I knew that was all you.
it was an allergy. It was a medical.
The cat lived
health
outside,
reason.
Chief.
It was a health,
Dad
Concern.
loves cats.
concern, right.
Do you hate cats?
I just don't think they like me very much.
He hates them. I really had a hard time getting rid of this cat. I definitely would sit and listen to 95.5, and the Matchbox 20 "If You're Gone" song would come on, and I would be like, "This reminds me of Lucky, who's moved on." So I mean, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
That's not, I'm not a loser.
We're
Normal
lucky he's still
coping
alive.
mechanism.
We were told
What?
we could go see him, and whenever we wanted, and we don't even know if he's dead or alive now.
Yeah. We were told we could go
It's an
see
empty
him
promise.
whenever we wanted, which meant we were allowed to see him once. It's
I
absolutely.
think we saw one picture of him since then.
We saw one picture of him since
Got a
then.
Christmas card.
On a Christmas card. Trying to think. I mean, so Dad Timpf here runs a tight ship. He runs a tight ship. Although he does vape when he's in New York. You've been vaping in New York. You gotta wake
I
up.
don't inhale.
You don't inhale. My sister Julia, you started. What do you think of the vape?
Yeah, I'm slowly transitioning to the whole vape thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's brutal. There's nothing. It's not enjoyable at
It's kind of a
first.
harsh, and it's all this equipment that's required.
I know, like
the
the USB,
the
plug it in, and
reagents, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's pretty
Hey, you know
bad.
what? You guys don't have to vape.
I do have to vape. If I don't vape, I go through some pretty serious.
Yeah,
it's
I know you
inevitable
do,
being
but-
around you. Just like you have to.
Yeah.
After a while,
Absolutely. So yeah, so we got Elliot's the middle child. Julia is the youngest one. Elliot was he was a cool kid in my graduation party. I'll never forget. There was more guests there for Elliot than for me.
Hey, I had to get somebody to get that party going.
No, and nobody, of course, noticed that all of the beer was just
Right, and
slowly.
everybody was also underage at that point.
Yeah. Well, Elliot,
It
you
was
were.
a graduation party,
right.
so yeah.
Yeah.
The game was up after Vince dropped the bottle on the patio.
Yeah.
He was trying to smuggle out.
I think it was a Smirnoff Ice too. So all the things you get caught with, the Smirnoff Ice is not the thing.
Yeah. But also everybody was so. I had two people there. I had Brittany and Kyle there, and
Katie may have showed up. I think.
what?
didn't-
No, we were fighting at the
Oh,
time.
okay.
We were fighting because I don't even remember, but everyone was so worried about my brother's friend stealing the Smirnoff Twisteds out of the cooler that nobody was paying attention to me and my two friends, and so me and Brittany just took some vodka and we all sat in the trampoline and we got shit faced. And she came back in and told all my brother's friends she was going to take him to see Nacho Libre. And they were like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, the trampoline is not a good environment for that. Actually.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, the trampoline, even when you're not consuming beverages, is kind of a concern.
You got to talk into the mic, Chief.
But, yeah, you shouldn't go on the trampoline after you've been drinking. I would say.
You barf?
Well,
You just get hurt.
Yeah.
It's a health risk.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have family. Like I said, you were very, very strict. Which, Julia, what's the most
he
ridiculous?
just killed that wherever that was going. To say, I know how trampolines aren't safe. Next question.
End of story.
Well, my insurance, house insurance, actually, they put a charge on for the. They ask you, do you have a trampoline?
Really?
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
do you have a pool? Do you have a trampoline? Okay, well.
Never smoke cigarettes.
Yeah,
Our-
anything, yeah.
Our backyard is a playground still. We got a swing set. We have
Nothing's changed.
Or Larry said it was a carnival.
Yeah.
Crazy Larry.
We had a neighbor.
I'm sorry we have kids.
We had a neighbor named Crazy Larry. He was the craziest Larry of
Well,
all.
his nickname was Crazy Larry.
Yeah. Well,
First name Crazy, last name Larry.
well, he called the township on us because we had a basketball in the front yard. He said our house was in deplorable condition.
Call the township.
And the township showed up and they were like, "Wait, it looks like they have kids."
About, 5 times they had the township come out and measure the distance of a pool from our yard to his
As though
yard.
somebody would have picked up the pool and moved it
Yeah,
over.
he's just never satisfied. I know it's closer than it's supposed to.
And then I remember one time we were hanging out in the backyard. We noticed there was a little handheld camera pointed to our house.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I mean, what?
Actually, Larry looked like Jerry Garcia.
Yeah, but like 50 pounds heavier.
But much heavier, yes, actually. Yeah.
Julia, what was, Elliot, Julia, this is open to everybody. What was the most ridiculous thing you ever got grounded for?
I don't know. I can't really remember. Like, I can remember some ridiculous rules that we had that I thought were like completely normal growing up.
Like what?
Just like the fact that we would have like passcodes and everything. Like as soon as we got cable, there was passcodes on every single channel. You get home from school. Nothing.
Can't watch TV.
Same with the computer. Couldn't hop on AIM or.
Yep.
I got grounded way more than you guys did because I was the oldest, I think. I got grounded once for calling Elliot a butthole for like 5 whole days.
Yeah, when you got grounded at the house, you got grounded for that long. Like, there was times I got grounded for 2 weeks, and it would be 14 days, and then that's when you could go back outside again.
Yeah.
It was like a solitary confinement.
Yeah, you couldn't go outside. You couldn't go on the computer. You couldn't watch TV. You just had to sit there, and Mom would walk around and be like, "Yep, well, yep."
Mom loved it.
Yeah, she did. Dad, I really am suspicious that you and Mom just loved grounding us.
True or false?
Well, it was effective.
My dad would come in and just annoy us as he was waking us up, and then Mom would be lingering in the shadows as soon as we said something like, "Get out of it." Well, that's it. Now you've done it.
Yeah.
You're done. What did we say?
If the annoying didn't work, then you'd have the mom come in just bitching until you get up.
Now you've done yourself in.
Did yourself in.
You did yourself in with that one.
I mean, you have to get up within the first couple of tries. After that, you can't spend the day trying to get somebody out of bed. All right, you just
Well, I woke up one day to find out I was grounded because my boyfriend got his tongue pierced.
No, he was talking about getting it pierced.
Well, no,
It was even better.
yeah.
You actually weren't grounded. He just was no longer able to come over.
Well, then I also got grounded because we were swimming, and he posted a picture where I was in my bathing suit on the internet. And I was grounded for 2 whole weeks. 2 weeks.
Well, weren't you guys forced to break up after that?
Yeah, they wouldn't. They
were forced to cut ties, go separate ways.
And he was like 18, and I was like 15, 16. And I was 15. For part of the relationship, I was 15. He was 18. So Mom was like, "If you call this house again, I'm pressing charges."
Oh no.
Because he got his tongue pierced.
They're probably looking for any reason to make you guys break up.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, though, about a week later, he had he had a new girlfriend, and they were on MySpace, and he was writing in his MySpace blog about how his new girlfriend and him had sex. So I was so upset, and Mom, on his MySpace.
It's probably still on his MySpace.
I'll probably pull it up right now.
Yeah. Him and his new girlfriend had sex.
I called that one.
Yeah, and so then Mom was like, and I was like all upset, and then she took me to Cold Stone. She's like,
I told you so.
Yeah. She was always correct, which didn't really help.
Yeah.
It matters at all. I mean, but honestly, though, and we talked, Elliot, the crazy significant other competition that you win.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
I think nobody will ever come close to.
I would come home and she would just be like, just there, like
I
when
was
you
held
guys were in high
hostage.
school too.
Yeah, I was held hostage in a relationship. It was like a gun to my head the entire time.
As a high school kid, and we'll just call her, and we can't use her name, so we can just call her Fruit Loop.
This person is a mother now, a wife and a mother.
We could just call her Fruit Loops. Do you remember Fruit Loops, Dad?
I think I know who you're talking about. I never heard her referred that way.
Well, because we have the Fruit Loop stain on the ceiling because of her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she came home. What was that? We talked about this in the previous parties you lost.
Well, I was going home. I wanted to go home with Adam. She was not cool with that for whatever reason.
His buddy Adam.
So she was very suspicious always when me and just Adam drove over.
While you're in high school and you live with your parents. Like,
going over your neighbor's house.
Yeah, and the person that lives 5 houses away, it kind of just made sense for that person to drive me home. But, so she came over. I was trying to take a nap because I had a hockey game or something that night.
Yeah.
And before she acknowledged that she was in the house, she just decided to make herself a bowl of cereal.
Yes. She let herself in.
Yeah. And then I finally addressed her, like, "What are you doing here? Can you go? I'm trying to sleep." And she did not like that at all. at all. So it escalated very quickly.
Fruit Loops everywhere.
And it ended up with her pulling a knife on me in our kitchen.
While eating Fruit Loops.
I had no idea it would get to this point. So I had to grab the knife from her hand. Eventually wrestled it away from her. We didn't struggle for it or anything, but she wasn't really willing to give it up. She made that decision. She stuck to it. So then after that, I finally got the knife from her, put it back in the knife holding spot. And she grabbed the bowl of cereal like nothing happened. I was about to go sit on the couch. I was like, you need to get out of here.
You
like,
just pulled
now.
the knife. You just threatened to kill me.
She
have a bowl of
said
cereal
no,
now.
so I smacked the bowl of cereal and milk out of her hand. And I think maybe that kind of got the message across. And maybe 10, 15 minutes later after that, she left.
But there's still a little multicolored stain on our ceiling reminding us of her forever.
It's not easy to get Fruit Loops and milk off your white ceiling.
Never goes away.
Especially on the ceiling. I mean, she was like, if me and Elliot were ever hanging out, she would always be like, fine, you know, you're just going to hang out with another girl.
Yeah, no, she thought that there was like a thing between us. Like that.
He's like, well, the thing is that she's my sister.
Yeah.
And we live in the same house because she's my sister.
Yeah, that's why we get along real well. That's why we have a lot of stuff in common.
It's like, you're hanging out with Katherine again. It's like, well, yeah, she's my sister.
And I see her like 3 times a year.
Yeah, exactly. And I would come home and we'd spend a lot of time together.
Mm-hmm.
And she would just, so what she would do is if she would call my brother's cell phone, and if he didn't answer, because it would be like 3 a.m, so he'd be asleep, she'd call the house phone and identify herself.
Like it was normal.
I
Like
feel like whenever she'd act like it was an accident, like, oh, is Elliot there?
I guess while I'm on the phone now, just have a word with him.
Now that everybody in your house is awake.
Yeah.
You remember those?
So
Chief?
Dad's like, sitting over there trying to forget that whole thing.
Try to repress it.
I still have that phone, actually, the house phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason.
No one answers it anymore. But it's, why do I even have that phone?
Because I think it makes your internet cheaper.
Oh, okay.
It's a package deal.
All right.
It's a scam, a telemarketing scam.
I haven't
Working
checked
with the cable
I haven't checked
companies.
messages on it in 3 years.
Yeah, I don't even know if we had a message thing set up.
Mm-hmm. No, it was set up.
It was.
Yeah, Mom left a message on there, so.
Yeah, she let me do the house. Remember when they let me do
So
the instant messenger one or the answering machine once, and I was like, hello. But I was very upset when people talked about changing it because I take everything personally. I mean, I don't know. Did I have any bad? I mean, my high school ex was bad. My other one was just really dumb.
Yeah, but then she was psychotic. You didn't deal with anybody that was
Yeah,
psychotic.
Yeah.
I think at one point my life was in jeopardy.
You're like, why did you break up with her? She pulled a knife in my kitchen while eating Fruit Loops.
I actually can't break up with
Which
her.
means
Yeah,
that she
right.
seems to think that's
been
no big deal.
I've been trying. If you have any other way that you think they could break us up, then by all means, I'm open to ideas. 'Cause it was nothing.
Were you trying to go to class one time and she just grabbed your wrist and wouldn't let it go?
Yeah, she wouldn't let go of my hand. She just wouldn't let go of my hand.
You have to cut
Just-
your hand off.
I was like, luckily I had gym. She was probably about 15 minutes late to her class. I don't know how, I could not get her off me. I eventually had to go up to a janitor. Like, dude, get this crazy bitch off.
You had to go up to a janitor and be
Yeah.
like, she's not letting go of my
Yeah,
hand.
there was
Because
like
you
the
obviously can't plot physically
I can't
do anything. Yeah. What was she mad about at the time?
I have no idea. Like, she lied about somewhere where she was at, and I was just like, okay, I don't want to hang out with you tonight. And then she was like, no.
Flips it around on you.
Yeah.
She was like, no, you are.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. We are hanging out
Then
from
I'm
now
gonna
until tonight.
From now until tonight. Now I'm grabbing onto your wrist because you are absolutely not letting go.
Yeah, it was bad. It was like the first person I saw that had a walkie-talkie was the person I talked to. First, I ever went to a janitor for something. That's when situation's bad.
Yeah, but Mom always hated everyone we dated.
Yeah, but she was always right though in the end. you
Yeah,
know?
she was. One of Julia's boyfriends used to come over and put on Duck Dynasty, which was also pretty bad.
Right, yeah.
I walked up to Mom. I'm like, I'm gonna go in the living room and start doing lunges. I grabbed 2 weights. I went in the
It's
living
more
room.
productive.
I went in the living room and I just did everything I could do to try to make them uncomfortable. At one point, I was standing in front of the TV, and just doing lunge. You remember that, Elliot?
You can't be interrupting Duck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just
You don't want to miss anything.
and I was just doing lunges with weights for like 10 minutes. And Julia was obviously mad because it was her boyfriend at the time, like it was like Julia's high school boyfriend.
Yeah.
And just doing lunges, and he just was sorry. Her current boyfriend's also sitting here listening to this, but I'm just doing it because this is the content that I need. Sorry, but so
I apologize.
Just gotta give the people what they want.
For the record, he doesn't. I don't think he follows Duck Dynasty.
Do you like Duck Dynasty? He's shaking his head no. Yeah, he's a good man. I like this one. But he just sat there as if I would. It didn't work because he just sat there as if I was not doing lunges.
I think that whole thing just went over his head.
We were just kind of pretending that it wasn't happening. Like,
I was doing lunges, and I was like, doing lunges. Mom, are these lunges? What?
No, just one. No, nothing.
What was that? Everything okay?
No, yeah. I was just wondering how nothing. I was wondering about the time element. Is this like a?
It's like an hour. Why?
Okay, all right.
The bathroom breaks are fine. We can cut them out if that's the issue.
No,
I mean, I'm probably gonna take one. So
okay.
yeah. We are drinking many beers. There's a lot of Natty Lights on this table, which is the beer of Barstool. We had, Julia, but you may win the craziest friend award for the one who would leave messages on our answering machine.
Oh, okay. We can't mention her name. But.
Yeah. She would say, during the message,
It was a play-by-play.
every time the time changed, you'd be like, oh, it's 7:34. Oh, not 7:35, it just changed. And then she'd continue her message, be like, oh, now it's 7:36, it just changed. And then she
Useful
later got
information.
suspended for having sex in the high school bathroom.
Yes, that was a thing.
Yeah, who saw that coming?
She left a detailed messages. I mean, that's good. Some people don't say what time, who they are.
First, my
definitely a
dad-
communicator.
Yeah.
We can hang out, but first my dad has to go to the bank, and then
Yeah.
I got dance practice after that. But after I'm free, I'm open.
Yeah, and maybe we could do this, and maybe we could do that, and maybe we could do this and that, and maybe we can do this and that. I mean, yeah. I mean, well, you guys were, you were pretty tough. I had my ringtone for my little cell phone in high school was a Halloween theme because whenever you guys were calling, it was not good. It was not good news.
You were one of those people that had like a different ringtone for like every person that would call you.
I miss those days.
Yeah,
those were
that's-
good days that we remember ringtones.
And you would
Finally,
download
as a
different
junior, or as
songs.
I finally got a cell phone as a senior.
Senior.
Well, I had the largest phone that worked about 30% of the time my sophomore year. It was like a Nokia flip phone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did not have the walkie-talkie on it.
No, that was that Nextel, that
You just
flip
like-
phone. But the only reason it flipped is because the listening end of the phone went up. Like,
Yeah, there was no like screen.
It was mostly like a walkie-talkie.
And text
Yeah.
messages were in.
Well, you could text, but you had to hit if you wanted a certain letter, you had to hit the
T9.
button.
No, not
that's
for me,
three
not for that
times.
phone.
That wasn't even an option.
Yeah, I don't even think that thing had texting capabilities.
And you know what everyone else got to do but me? They got to all say away messages on Instant Messenger. They got to say, at work,
Text the cell.
text the cell, hit me on the cell, text
No,
the cell.
We were never even really allowed to have away messages because the energy that it was.
So you don't leave the computer on. It's a waste.
Exactly.
Fast forward to now, where we have all of the people at this table cell phones. This is a bill that I see every month. I've upped it to 30 gigabytes of data. And about 3 weeks into the plan, I start getting text messages that it's already been blown out.
Yeah, what's you guys watching?
Who uses
I
that
don't know.
kind of information?
I don't know.
Who uses that?
It's not me, I think it's Julia.
I think it's
So-
Kat.
I think it's
It
Julia.
might be Kat.
I think it's Julia.
This can be.
Everybody-
This answer can be found. With just
Everybody
looking at the bill.
on our company's plan gets 2 gigabytes a month too. Okay, and no one can exceed that, and no one does. Yeah,
I got it. Yeah.
Yet I've got I've got what essentially breaks down to 7.5 per person, and that seems to be not even enough for 3 weeks. So,
Well, I got a bone to pick with Julia.
how much information do we need here?
I got a bone to-
We have looked at percentages of who uses the data, and usually you and I are pretty even. In my defense.
Yeah, right.
Well, this is a bone to pick with Julia, and this is about a 6-year-old bone.
Okay,
With-
this is a whole different. All right.
Yeah, so Julia got a cell phone, and she didn't have a credit card because she got one when she was younger. And she said, nobody will give me the credit card, and nobody will give me the credit card, and I can't even download free apps. I can't download free apps without the credit card information. So I was like, that's not very nice. I'll be a good big sister, and I'll give Julia my credit card. This time I was living in Los Angeles. I was very poor. I had no Wi-Fi. I didn't have a bed. I slept on a yoga mat. I was working like from 4 a.m. until 12 a.m. every single day. I would do my, my morning traffic reports, and then I'd go from there to my internship, and then I'd go from there to the diner where I did the closing shift, and I'd have to drive all the way back to Long Beach. It was brutal. And so, I mean, at that point, I was a waitress, so I was mostly working in cash. Okay, my rent, I'd have enough. Then I deposited at the end of the month to put it in for my rent, but I didn't put it on the card. I mostly was working in cash because a lot of places there was like less. You didn't have to pay tax if you paid in cash, like a lot of restaurants and bars and those kinds of things. And I went to my account to pay my rent, and I saw that I had about a $50 overcharge. And I go down, and I'm like, well, I didn't spend it, because my account was overdrafted, and I hadn't looked at it. It was harder to look at it because I didn't have the Wi-Fi. And every time I wanted to use a computer, I'd go to the Long Beach Public Library where you got 20 minutes of internet, and I'd be waiting behind homeless people who would be just there shielding their computers from the people with the jacket over it, just watching porn. And I would just have to wait for that. It was like not a classy library. And I was like, I was Doodle Jump.
Anyone who had a Doodle Jump obsession would understand.
Somebody purchased Doodle Jump on their phone on my account, and it cost me $50 for their Doodle Jump because they overdraft. I was at a point where 99 cents overdrafted me because times were tough.
Worth it.
But Julia owes me $50 for Doodle Jump because I was kind enough to give her my credit card, and she said, I'm gonna get Doodle Jump. I know I told her I wouldn't, but I need Doodle Jump. I paid $50 for fucking Doodle Jump.
I thought you were gonna say that there was purchases on Doodle Jump. I didn't even know you could make purchases on Doodle Jump of $50.
No, I went through my account and I saw about 3 weeks later somebody had made a purchase for Doodle Jump.
Was it that 99 cents?
They made an app. Well, it just said App Store. It just said App Store. So I called the house, and she was like, well, I need Doodle Jump.
I could also bring up the credit card that I had on file at Walgreens up at your college town, Kat.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember that I put if you had to get something from Walgreens, my credit card was on file.
I used to get some snacks.
I get that drugstore makeup.
I didn't know what you must do. Yeah.
Hillsdale let you put credit cards on file in the pharmacy.
Right. So she'd walk into whatever. Gosh. Yeah, exactly.
So I could get my prescriptions in case I needed a little help, and I'd get snacks.
Like grocery shopping at Walgreens.
I did, yeah.
Something. Yeah. So yeah, it was $50 was small.
Well, I mean, I wish she would have at least let me put $1 in my account. I had $0, so I had to do $50 with the overcharge for the desperate purchase.
I was like, 99 cents. It'll be fine.
For the desperate purchase of Doodle Jump. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
It was a $51 Doodle Jump. You had to pay the 99 cents.
Although Elliot and I did do things that were asshole-ish to Julia.
It was a defense mechanism.
Well, no, the perfect example of what we would do is my brother and I, so his birthday is October 19th, mine's October 29th. So we get all of our birthday money. We'd have relatives come over, and we get our birthday money at the same time, so we would pool it together, and we could get something big. And one of the years we got an N64, and when Julia, we'd play it, and Julia didn't want to play it. We only had 2 controllers. We're like, sorry, you didn't buy it.
Usually the youngest is left out anyways, and then you add the whole, we bought it. So
well, you didn't get grounded as much, which you had going for you. But
and the financial power of birthdays in that proximity.
Well, yeah, because we joined together. We said,
I think
sorry.
it was actually a GameCube.
Yeah, it was a game. It was both. We did both. We got that. We got the GameCube.
Is available now.
I have the N64 at my apartment. Okay. I love the N64. But we would say, Julia, you can't play it. You can't play it because you didn't buy it. Sorry.
Julia also missed out on all that Babe Ruth memorabilia that was signed Babe Ruth memorabilia.
Yeah, when we saw Sandlot, my brother and I were like, wow, things are worth money if Babe Ruth is on it. So we went. My brother and I shared a room for a short period of time because we were moving from a house, and we were getting our house built, and we lived in a condo while we were waiting for Julia to be born. And we shared a room. Remember that? There was a couple incidents that we had at that condo because the condo, you're renting it, you got to keep it in pristine condition.
Well, the room that you shared was remote from the rest of the house, so you walked up from the living room up to a loft area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like the whole
And then
upstairs
that was
was.
in back. It had a private bathroom. It was really quite an exquisite
It
room
was,
that you
but
that
the
you
issue
shared.
is, I remember we didn't want to share a room, and somebody said, "Well, just draw a line, and it's like to two sides." So I grabbed a red crayon. The carpet was white,
Right.
and I drew a line.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was no longer allowed in the bathroom then in that room because I couldn't cross the line.
Can't get out the door.
I think I'm a tyrant. But after we saw Sandlot, my brother and I grabbed some pens, and we just autographed all of our furniture with Babe Ruth.
Everything in the room is Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth signed this wall.
It's unbelievable.
The entire dresser said Babe Ruth, and we thought you guys were going to be stoked.
Yeah. Oh man, the value of this house just.
You were not stoked. You remember that,
You
Chief?
saw right through that.
You remember that when we wrote Babe Ruth on all of our stuff?
I didn't actually find that out till we moved out. I took that closer look at the wall.
This is Babe Ruth all over.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was Mom we went and told, but we were all excited. Like,
Yeah, Mom.
Babe Ruth signed all this shit. Even though.
She was not happy. I also threw up on the white carpet. You remember that? I wasn't sick. I wanted to see what would happen if you drank a sip of red Faygo, a sip of milk, a sip of red Faygo, a sip of milk. Turns out what happens is you throw up everywhere.
Yum.
I remember we were watching like some animal documentary on PBS, and I looked up and I saw a lion, and I got really sick, and I just threw up. I must have drank an entire liter of Red Pop, and then quite a decent amount of milk.
Red's
I
a
was
good
trying to
color
make
for the white
strawberry.
carpet.
I was trying to make strawberry milk in my mouth,
In
She
short.
made it on the carpet.
and I threw up like bright pink red all over the carpet. And it was my fault.
We also broke the head off that turtle fountain,
It was a seal.
seal fountain that by dropping rocks from the upper floor.
Yeah, we used to like to
Cracked
throw
the
rocks
head
in the
off-
pond. Can you blame
cracked
us?
The head off of it.
And then I tried to fix it with silly putties. I tried to
all.
mold a seal head with silly putty, and it turns out that I was not an adequate artist to pull that off without the owners realizing it.
The fountain started flooding the place
No.
because the water was no longer aimed into the pond. It was just going all over the place. So, with the missing head or whatever it was.
Threw off the whole ecosystem.
There was just a bent tube sticking out of the seal's rest his abdomen or whatever.
I always owned up, though. Elliot was always he was really committed to the Trump-esque view of just, even if you lied, you just say you're not lying and you commit to it.
You got to be good at it.
Yeah, if there's no footage of me committing it, I'm just gonna deny it.
One time you decided that your bangs on your face, you decided to cut your bangs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the first time I've heard you admit it, actually.
Yeah,
Now.
I've admitted it. I don't
He
deny
admitted
stuff
it
like
last
that.
week.
He admitted
It
it.
wasn't the first time.
He admitted it last week. Yeah, and my mom was like, "Did you cut your bangs?" I didn't cut my bangs.
That
There was huge chunks missing of your bangs. A,
Prove it.
And B, you left the scissors and the remainder of your bangs in my parents' sink. And you were like, she's like, "I see your bangs."
Yeah, I think that was also right around the time when I really wanted highlights. And
Yeah.
that
Frosted
sun-in.
tips.
Oh, yeah. That
That was
sun-in.
awesome.
You remember sun-in?
Yeah.
You spray that, whatever that was on your hair, and it
Yeah.
would give you like highlights, and like the top of my hair was just like red and brown. And like, did you use that sun-in like we told you not to use? Like, no, yeah. I
My
think
hair
that maybe
just
was the
ne-
first time I owned up because it was like so obvious that my hair was a different color.
Well, the best one was the blue food coloring. 'Cause you
Yeah.
thought it was frosting.
Yeah.
You ate an entire tube of blue food coloring. Hadn't looked in the mirror. Dad came upstairs. He's like, "What did you eat? That was blue." And he goes, "I didn't eat anything blue." But if you eat food coloring, it does color your mouth the color of the food coloring.
Yeah, I was unaware. I was like 5. You know?
And then tell us that we were homeschooled.
I think we were homeschooled during that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like my recess.
Elliot
got
and I,
bored.
Elliot
Just,
and I were
eat food
homeschooled. I was in
coloring.
4th and 5th grade, which meant you were in 2nd and 1st.
I think kindergarten and 1st grade.
I think it's 1st
homeschooled.
and 2nd. Second,
Something like that.
maybe.
No, because I remember
kindergarten. Because you
Dad
were.
gave me the option to skip a grade, but I was like, oh wait, now I have to do full days. I was like, no, I'll stay in kindergarten.
Yeah, we covered a grade every month.
Yeah, we did. And well, that was what he was getting. You told us, sir, Ellie was getting like perfect.
Yeah, right. On the science material, was it science or grammar?
Maybe it was like reading comprehension
Yeah,
stuff.
reading
Yeah.
comprehension.
That Maria book.
Yeah, all of the so you read a passage and then you answer questions about the passage afterwards to test how well you understood it. And amazingly, the was 100% for a period of a week or so of the exams. You had one every day, and
pretty like articulate answers.
Right, it was looking really, really good until one of the answers said, and of course, now you got to remember the answer keys in the back of the book. Said answers will vary.
Classic.
Answers will vary. And then you were busted.
Yeah.
You were straight busted. Well, when we were homeschooled, we're pretty normal. We were homeschooled for 2 years, and a lot of people who are homeschooled do end up normal. But we went to homeschool groups, and we wound up meeting some pretty weird friends. Remember my weird friend that I met? I brought her to my.
Which one?
Well, because we were all still friends with everybody in public school. Like I was at the Girl Scouts in public school, and like we were all still friends with people from public school. And I used to throw these blowout sleepovers. I peaked in terms of popularity in 3rd grade. I mean, I was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The girl that was in the 4th grade who was like a 10-year-old attorney.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
People were making fun of her at my birthday party, and she just, because we were all making fun of each other. Like, it wasn't like we were targeting her. We were all just, like, having fun. And someone said she, like, I don't know, like, double dipped or something. And she goes, I'm not guilty of these charges. And then she was done for.
Now you're out of the group.
Now people are being mean.
Yeah, proceeding. She was actually pretty intelligent, but
right.
was misdirected.
Yeah. Someone's like, oh, you double dip, gross. And it could have been the end if she just would have said, ha ha. Double dipping is not you children are gross, you know. We were all like 8. It was like, ha ha. And she goes, I'm not guilty of these charges.
Yeah.
Oh boy, she was done. She was done at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to throw these blowout sleepovers. We would do, I'm sure you appreciated it, we'd all do a Spice Girls fashion show and run down the stairs.
Walk around the house.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It was pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah, Spice Girls, yes.
I think you guys used to, like, your sleepover would be in Mom and Dad's room.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the only room big enough for everyone.
I did have a lot of friends in the 3rd grade.
Flashlight, strobe lights going on.
We would just prank call people from the house phone. Who was it who accidentally called 911?
That was me. I was doing it.
That was you. You're just fed up.
I was, because I think I forget what was happening. Somebody was like, I don't know, hysterical. It's like, all right, I'm calling the cops, and I hit like 911 8888 556 because I didn't know if you hit 911 and then hit other shit after that. It just like recognized you called 911.
And they showed up.
Next thing we knew, no, actually the cops didn't show up, but they called. They were like, you called 911 and hung up. Is everything fine? I was like, yeah, it was an accident.
911 nullifies all the numbers that come after.
Yeah.
You know.
As it should.
Yeah.
Because it's 911.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was
so
ridiculous.
if people didn't know that, there's a little valuable bit of information.
Pro tip.
Well, we were pretty good kids. I remember you must have been so horrified when, we had cops show up at the door, and you think your kid's dead. But it turns out Elliot and his friends were throwing rocks at a
We
pond.
were checking to see if a pond was frozen so we could play pond hockey.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
And somebody on the pond didn't like that.
So they threw rocks to see if
the 5-0.
They called the cops. A kid threw a rock on a frozen pond.
It was like 2 rocks, and there was like 5 of us, and we were just like literally just checking to see if it was frozen.
Yeah.
How else do you check if the center of a rink is frozen?
Also, like
walk
the
across
cops
it.
show up at your door and sort of be like, "I'm sorry to tell you, we have some news. I'm sorry." But it was like, "I'm sorry to tell you, your son was throwing rocks outdoors."
No, was with people who were throwing rocks.
Yeah,
outdoors. I didn't even
your
throw
son
a
was
rock.
at the scene of people throwing rocks outdoors.
He was the ringleader of it all.
And I got grounded for that.
Yeah, we just got grounded. I got grounded once for throwing the corn, putting the corn, forgetting to close the corn checks box. I got grounded from Bible study specifically, but I think it's because I went to a Lutheran Bible study.
Got grounded from Bible study.
And Mom wanted me to go to Catholic stuff. I think she never liked that Lutheran Bible study all along.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, for sure.
That's probably what it was. But the boys there were very cute. Remember that? That was a good time. All right, we're back. Well, we're back. We took a short break. Paul, all right, we're starting now. And while we were on the break, do you know what? Oh wait, do you need another beer, Dad? Yeah, you do. But the whole time I've been back, or was on break, I was thinking about Murad products. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. When you look in the mirror, do you ever see a face looking back at you that looks older than you really feel inside?
Every day.
That is a really sad situation. Nobody wants to look older, It's a lot better to look younger because then you look, hot and attractive. And, when you look attractive, more people say, hey, what's up? So listen up to everybody. This is for you. It's 20% off the most effective anti-aging products I've ever used. Skincare brand Murad. Even Julia is very beautiful, as I know some of you do stalk her Instagram because you've found her, that she exists. Has heard of this. Murad is a doctor-developed clinical performer. Takes years off your complexion. And I have a very special offer just for my listeners. You guys are lucky. This is better than Black Friday. It is my personal gift to you guys. You'll get 25% off everything Murad, 25% off anti-aging creams, skin brightening serums, acne-fighting treatments, because, you also don't want to see an old face with pimples on it. Trust me, Murad has a solution for you, but you only have a week. So don't miss out on this deal. You'll get free shipping, too, on every order. Look younger, free shipping, no zits. Go to muradpodcast.com. It's MURAD podcast.com /Kat, K-A-T. muradpodcast.com/Kat, K-A-T as in me. You can just load up your cart and enter the promo code podcast. Promo code is podcast. Address is muradpodcast.com /Kat as in me. You get a full 25% off plus free shipping. This offer only lasts 1 week. Lasts 1 week only. You don't have a lot of time. Your week gets filled up, so you should probably do it now. All right, guys, welcome. How's it going? Everyone's going good. We were talking about what to eat.
For how to get more people to say, hey, what's up?
More pizza. The pizza. Dad, you liked the sweets. We would get sweets in the house, and Dad would eat them all and then blame it on all of us.
Yeah, I didn't even.
I don't know why this whole pie is gone.
I had one of those donuts. No, Dad, you had 12 of those donuts. I remember when last year you brought pies from Auntie Barbara for Thanksgiving, and there was a piece missing in the pie that you brought when you brought it. And he looks at me and he goes, well, that was my breakfast piece. Of course, that was my breakfast piece.
Pie.
Yeah.
You know how Dad had that incident where he almost got lost in the woods? You know what the first thing he did after that was? Got coffee and pie. And he got a full Boston cream pie, and then he got a full Boston cream pie and then a piece. Just so we could have before he left and still have the full pie when he got home.
Yeah, there you go. Well, so you've learned from that. You've learned that you bring a full pie, right, Chief?
Yep, it's actually more cost effective. The price per slice goes way down in the full pie price.
Yeah, that's very, 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 very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna take a sip.
And then you also look
light.
like you have self-control.
Mm-hmm. We brought this. Elliot, my brother, is great. He listens to the podcast. Sometimes when I have beer and I podcast, I tend to hit my teeth on the mic. And when we first got into the studio, the first thing he said was, how many times do you think you're going to hit your teeth on the mic during this podcast? So far, I'm 0.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
As I think a couple times I've also texted you before, like, hey, put your phone on silent. There's like times where it seems like every time your phone goes off.
Yeah,
At least
absolutely.
once.
Absolutely. I don't remember what we were talking about before this all. Well, I know, but before we all went on break. But it's okay. We can just keep talking. We just keep hanging out. I mean, what do you guys want to do in the city that you haven't done yet? I don't know. I mean, like, Dad, you visited me so many times that I just kind of feel like you've seen the whole city. You've seen everything.
I have. Well, I've been to New York dozens and dozens of times, and I never get tired of coming here. It's always fun. Always stay up too late. Very short on sleep when we come here, but it's always fun to visit. It's very unique, very much unlike the suburban area where I spend most of my time. But I just like tagging along and get to see a lot of it that way too. I don't need to do anything specifically. We just normally just stumble across things that are interesting. So
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I remember one time we went out with Ben Kissel and the guy that I was dating at the time, and we went to the Pina Colada place in Brooklyn, the Commodore.
Mm-hmm.
And those, normally you drink like you love Pina Coladas.
I do.
And then there's frozen drinks, but normally when you drink a Pina Colada, you're very aware of the fact that there's not much booze in it, and it's not really a strong drink. These were strong. We took you guys there. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
We had about 3 or 4 of them. And Elliot, were you there at this time or not?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you were there. And then we wound up back at Ben's, and then all of a sudden it's, pretty late and the sun's coming up, and my dad looks out the window and he goes, oh, man, I don't think I've been up this late since 1982. I've been out this late since 1982. I mean, you claim the last time you got drunk was at a Jimmy Buffett concert.
That would have been in '87.
How do you remember that?
How do I remember that? Well, that was one of those room spinning incidents.
You know.
There hadn't been anything even close to that, and it was because it was a 38-ounce beers that they were selling at the concert, and we were there with friends. Mom and I were there with friends, and I didn't realize it until we went to take off, and after we left the parking lot, I pulled over and I said, I can't do this, and Mom had to take over, and that's the last time I really remember. That was, no.
Have you ever blacked out?
No. You
ever blacked out? Julia, when's the last time you blacked out?
Can't remember for obvious reasons.
I've only blacked out like once.
What happened?
I don't know. I was at Central Michigan for Halloween.
That'll do it. Central Michigan will absolutely do it to you.
It's the only way to have a good time, really.
Yeah, it's
Mount Pleasant is a strange place.
Yeah,
Central Michigan sucks.
Well, Mount Pleasant is just kind of
the area
boring.
is depressing.
Mm-hmm.
The area is depressing, but I don't always have a bad time. Otherwise, I wouldn't go there. But it's just the area is kind of depressing.
Well, you guys both, went to school, school around, like Elliot, you like Macomb and then Walsh.
Yeah.
And then Julia, now you're at Wayne, and you live in downtown. The thing is like, those are better school. Like Walsh, a better school for going to business. Wayne, a better school for you're going into science. Something like Central. People go to schools like Central and Western just so they're
have a good time.
So they're not living at home and to get drunk.
Yeah.
So you're spending more money to get drunk. Like one of my exes who got like 2 MIPs in a semester, which seems he also, God bless him, but he also got airlifted out of Central Michigan because he was trying to open a 30 whacker with a giant butcher knife, whereas hands would have worked just fine. It's cardboard. I did it today.
And he is extremely strong. He could have destroyed that box.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a big dude.
Give
It was
him a knife.
unnecessary. Yeah.
It was very unnecessary. Have you ever? So Julia, you've gone, what schools, but you go visit other schools. What's the scene like? You've gone to, where do you have the most fun when you go out and party at a school?
State.
Yeah, definitely no surprise. State. As everyone says, yeah. All like Halloween, St. Patrick's Day, it's the best place to go.
What's the craziest thing you saw this year, Halloween, St. Patrick's Day at State?
Well, I actually didn't go to Halloween for State this year.
Yeah.
I actually ended up going to like Notre Dame in Indiana. But at State, it's madness like all the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a specific story.
They warned me when I went there. When I was in school, they warned me, like, don't wear heels because if you trip a little bit, cops they'll run out and give you a breathalyzer. Like, they're out there being like, everyone's going to be drunk, and that's probable cause, basically. If you trip a little, they'll breathalyze you on the street and give you an MIP.
I actually remember, like, one year we were at State, and there was some girl in the kitchen, like, standing up on the counter, and she, like, had this pumpkin, and she's like, I'm going to throw this pumpkin. And sure enough, she threw it across the kitchen, and just kind of rolled on.
A lot of stuff gets
just
destroyed at Michigan State.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
couches get burned, but yeah, it's a good time.
regular.
It's a great time. It wasn't like breaking stuff.
So what about U of M? Have you ever gone to U of M and gone out?
Yeah, I have. It's all right.
That was the only time I ever blacked out. Was that U of M?
Yeah, well, because everybody's parents paid for your booze.
Well, here's the thing. I did not drink in high school. I drank like at the summer after high school, and I didn't drink. And I was out with a lot of girls who did drink, and I went and I got really, really, really drunk, and I humiliated myself, and none of them ever talked to me again. But I was just like not as experienced with alcohol. I was drinking cherry Burnett's.
Ugh,
Bernasties.
You remember
I feel
Burnett's?
like my stomach would always get upset before I could get drunk when it came to drinking.
It's like rubbing
Burnett's.
alcohol.
Yeah,
I drank it, so I was trying to impress one of the times I drank in high school, I was never invited to parties, and I was invited once with these like cool people, and I wanted to impress everybody, and so everyone was drinking Jack Daniels and going, and I was like, I'm going to drink the most at once, and everyone's going to think I'm cool. So I chugged this thing of straight Jack. I immediately ran to the bathroom and threw up. And I wasn't even drunk. I never got drunk. It was just the taste of it, and like it was so hard to throw it. I didn't look cool. Nobody thought I was cool after that.
I don't think anybody can really just chug a healthy amount of Jack Daniels and look cool
That's-
after,
yeah.
at least in their actions and stuff like that.
I
Was
mean,
it
but
Nick Swartzen says what Jack Daniels' slogan should be? Jack Daniels, fucking good luck.
I mean, but it wasn't even like I got drunk. Like, it wasn't like I made a fool of myself. I just immediately threw
Yeah,
up. It was
yeah.
pretty bad. I don't know. Dad, what are you thinking about? You on your phone?
Mm-mm.
You on your phone in my podcast, Chief? You bored? Can I get you something? You bored? No? Everything good? You disappointed in me? Yeah?
Just listen to you guys. Excuse me.
I don't know. Well, you know, in terms of Julia, your semester going good?
Yeah.
You got mono.
Yeah, that was a fun time. Beginning it was my first like big exam week. I had 4 exams and
Yeah.
come down with mono, so that was lovely.
Mono is
First week at a new school.
yeah.
Mono.
that was bad.
And this teachers, they're basically like, good luck.
Yeah, you can't. There's no excuse. You could be on your deathbed and you could be like, I can't make it for the exam, and they don't
Yeah.
care.
Or can I take the exam here? Be like, no, you got to come to class.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta come to class with all your mono. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, why would you
Yeah.
want somebody like that in your classroom?
I mean,
No
I
offense, but, like,
yeah. I don't blame you.
I would have just gone there and just spit on the teacher's face.
Yeah.
Well, we went to a lot. I mean, we were homeschooled, public school. We went to St. Mary's. We went to Catholic school for a little bit, right? And Julia, you had a kindergarten teacher who was a nun.
Yes. Yes.
And
sister.
I've never had a teacher who was a nun. Elliot, have you had a teteacher who was a nun, Dad?
No.
And is
she
it?
was an actual nun.
And was it as tough as people say it is on the
Yeah, the
nuns?
stories are true. It's just bad.
She'd go through the class. She wasn't a tender-hearted lady.
No, there was no sympathy. There wasn't a very nurturing environment, I wouldn't say.
And it's
but
kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
shamed the kids,
She would mock us, daily.
and you're all 4.
Yeah. We're like still trying to use learning to use scissors and
Yeah.
trying to read, and yeah, I don't know. It was scary.
Well,
Patronizing 4-year-olds.
Well, Mom said that one time. Well, one of my favorite stories about. Well, I mean, there's so many stories about Mom, but she said that she was so scared of the nuns at St. Florian's that she had to go to the bathroom and she was too scared to ask, so she just peed her pants.
It was easier that way.
She just peed her pants. Have you guys ever peed your pants in school? Ever?
No.
I did
No,
once.
never at school.
I did once, and I just didn't tell anybody. I'm sure
Nobody
they must have
noticed.
noticed.
Until just now.
Yeah.
Did you have go to Girl Scouts after school too? So it
I
was
peed my
you're all
pants twice,
day
actually. Yeah, I went to Girl Scouts after school, and I was just like, nobody knows.
just chilling in your.
Hanging out and just well, I mean, I forgot my backpack in the parking lot. I forget my stuff all the time. And I remember our dad, you tried to bring my lunch one time to school, and they were like, no.
Yeah.
She forgot her lunch. Well, she's not eating.
Maybe she'll learn her lesson that way by starving.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, St. Mary's. It was all right. It was fine. Everything was good.
I beat Mom in a game of Crazy Bones, and the deal was if I won, I get to go to Beck in public school. I won, and she didn't hold up her end of that deal.
Oh, I forgot about Crazy Bones.
So she was so confident in her ability to beat you in Crazy Bones.
I guess, or she was making it interesting, and she knew that I wouldn't be going to Beck no matter what, because they already paid the tuition and shit.
Yeah, you guys promised me a bearded dragon if I cleaned my room or kept my room clean, and you guys
There's quite a
never
few
gave me
empty promises
Yeah.
tossed around the Timpf household.
Absolutely. Well, but I mean, Beck was all right. I mean, all the schools were all right. I mean, every school's crazy. Little kids are crazy. I mean, the worst thing that I ever went through in school. I mean, I was such a good
Harass the horse.
Yeah, that was one. But the worst day I think of my life still. I guess I mean, Mom dying was tough, but I burned my neck with a curling iron in 6th grade, and everybody was walking up to me and they were treating me like I was cool. And I was cool, and someone goes, "Oh my God, do you have a hickey?" But then I ruined it because I was like, "What's a hickey?" And I'm serious. I had no idea what a hickey was, and it didn't go away for a very long time. I just straight up burned my neck with a curling iron. I didn't know what a hickey was in 6th grade. You guys probably did. You guys are cooler than I was.
I don't know. Yeah,
I wasn't allowed to watch Degrassi. Remember Degrassi?
Yeah.
I remember I would
That
go
was
to.
some
The
intense
N?
stuff.
Noggin? Isn't that?
It was on. Yeah, it was on. And remember,
And they would transition to the N. Or is that what it was called?
The N, yeah. And I would get. It was a serious. I remember I go to over my friend Brittany's house, and I'd be like, I'm going to Brittany's. He's like, well, you're not gonna watch that Degrassi, or you're not gonna watch that Pugrassy. Look grassy.
I feel like every time when I was younger and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to do something, Mom would always be like, all right, don't be doing this, when that's exactly what I was going to do.
I know, she always knew every single time. She'd be like, I don't care if it's pug grassy, you're not watching it. Or whatever. Yeah,
when
Mom,
it was like the day that the new Degrassi came out, Mom would say that. And
well,
it's
it was even like,
you know this?
you'd come home and you're like, what'd you do? You'd say something and Mom would be like, oh, you sure you didn't go here and have three beers? And you'd be like, you'd come to my room and you'd be like, I had exactly 3 beers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of the first few times I drank, I came home. I was like, "You've been drinking?" I was like, "No." I was like, "I did not look drunk, acting drunk." I was like, how does she know? Like, as soon as I walked in the door,
Yeah.
it's just like something just.
Well, I had a high school
Relayed the
friend who was
message.
like very nice. We were both nerdy. We'd come home and throw dance parties in my room in high school. And I remember Mom was like, well, I like her, but, she's got a lot of friends. She's known there since elementary school. Some of them are in the popular group. I bet you she gets, in with that group, and then she just ditches you and doesn't talk to you. And I was like, Mom, that is crazy. Who develops these kind of like correct? Like 4 months later, that's exactly what happened.
She mail you a book about like sociopaths.
Yeah.
Then,
So I was dating this right after high school. I moved to LA and I was in college, and I was, I was dating my college boyfriend Blake, who has also been on this podcast, and you've heard all that story. We broke up. I started seeing a bartender at the California Pizza Kitchen where I worked, covered in tattoos, ex-heroin addict, sober at that point, not on heroin. And Mom met him, and he was perfectly nice, and she immediately was like, this man is a sociopath.
He's too charming.
She's like, she was like, I'm like, how do you know? She's like, his eyes. And I'm like, you are crazy. You are absolutely insane. Turns out he's straight up, like it's possible. Like he was like had another girl he was dating, and just like would develop these involved stories. He would lie about stuff, like if he had oatmeal for breakfast, he said he had yogurt. Like, and it's like, I'm not gonna be mad at him if he had yogurt, but some people just love they just love lying.
Thrill and not telling it.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you guys figured out that I was dating that person, Dad. Do you remember this? I had a car out there, and you helped me with a little of the payments, but I had made a lot of payments on this car, and as soon as I got there, Mom was like, well, we're getting the car because it's so hard to live in LA without a car. She was like, well, the car is technically in my name no matter how you paid, so we're taking the car.
Taking the car.
Taking the car. Because I don't want you to have to leave. You're not living there. I'm taking the car. You would never. Did you ever get away with anything? Have you ever gotten anything past Mom?
I think she would kind of like let us get away with, like she would always kind of know.
Like that one time on St. Patrick's Day, I got home at 5 o'clock in the morning, snuck in, the back door was still unlocked, and everybody knew I was gone, but I didn't get in trouble for some reason. Because I slept in your room when you were at school. I was like, oh no, I couldn't sleep. I slept in Kat's room.
So yeah, you did that. You did that as like a prerequisite. So like if anybody ever saw you, they're like, well,
I do it all the time.
Well, because I already could take. Because Dad was awake, the back door was still unlocked, and I know Dad went and checked. I was in your room. Dad went and checked my room to see if I was in there yet. Like, thank God I slept in Kat's room. Went out to some big not New Year's, was it St. Patrick's Day party? I was like 16, 17.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
That was not cool.
Because we weren't really allowed to have a good time, but I didn't let that really keep me from having a good time.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to have a good time.
Take the fun out.
When I was 20, I wanted to have half a beer at Vigilia, Polish Christmas Eve, and Mom was furious. Why do you think you're having a beer when you're not 21? Mom, you started smoking when you were 13. She quit when she was pregnant with me and never smoked again, but...
I think even younger, she quit like mid-20s.
Yeah, when did you guys quit smoking, Dad?
She quit way before you, didn't she? You couldn't quit.
Yeah, but she started. She started as a young
13.
teenager. Yeah, right.
You started when you would have been developed.
More college.
Well, she said, she's like, well, I lived in Hamtramck. We just did to hang out in alleys.
Yeah, we just hang out.
There's only so much to do in an alley. Stories that I've heard from Mom and her family, like, even like Auntie Annette was talking at Thanksgiving about like she went to someone's friend's brother was like a criminal and he broke into someone's house and he ran out and the cops shot him on sight and she like saw it and had to like tell her friend. I'm like, my biggest thing was a guy didn't like me back.
Well, that was urban life back in those days. You lived in, Mom lived as I lived in the city.
Like, well, not just the city, but not like nice parts of the city.
Well, they were at the nice.
time.
They're no longer. They became not nice, and we moved.
Riots and everything.
The area Mom lived in held up longer.
Yeah.
So by the time they became not nice, everybody was too old to move.
Yeah.
And then all the kids had moved on. But had things become in that area the way they were in the area I live, they would have probably left too, because it wasn't livable at that time.
Well,
It was dangerous.
Everybody in Hamtown also has been there since it pretty much has been there.
Well, you also, Dad, we went, I remember the last holidays we spent with Mom, wasn't it? We went, or was it a summer at the 4th of July? I don't remember, but last year Mom was alive. We drove around your old neighborhood and everything was just burned out.
That was at Winterfest for the
Yeah, so that's what I thought it was.
The Red Wings played at the baseball stadium.
The Winter Classic.
Winter Classic. And
Winterfest.
Yes,
that was the last holidays that Mom was alive.
Around, our house is still there, but probably maybe 20% of the houses actually were vacant and vandalized or destroyed. And
well, yeah, I remember we spent Easter. Do you remember this? Everybody, we spent Easter at Grandma Ohab's one time in Hamtramck, or Mom's old house, and we were sitting on the porch and somebody pulled a knife on somebody.
Yeah, there was random incidents of
and we're just sitting there eating our cheesecake on the front porch, and somebody pulled a knife on somebody, and I remember everyone was like, "All right, everybody go inside," and I'm like, "Don't want the kids to witness any live knife violence, slashing on the street." I mean, but Detroit, I love downtown Detroit. Julia, you live there. How do you like living downtown?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's a very unique city, a lot of personality to it, and it's like nowhere else.
Yeah, and it's like most of the crazy stuff happens on the outskirts.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely dangerous areas, but I mean, where I go to school, I go to school in Midtown, so that's obviously pretty safe. But I mean, there's areas, a mile away that you don't really want to be near, especially after dark. But I mean, that's any. Well,
you had that police officer got shot on your campus.
Yes,
and he died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You knew the guy. You said you had a cute story about this guy.
Yeah, I didn't really know him, but I remember I was parking in a parking garage, and there was just a long line. He was like, "You having fun yet?" Just waiting in line.
Yeah.
And that was it. And he was a young guy, and that's kind of when I saw his picture and I realized who he was kind of shocking.
Mm-hmm.
That it was.
It's always sad when you hear something that happened, somebody you knew, and all of that. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's certain areas. I remember Jesse, my friend. Jesse. Remember Jesse Richardson? We went out one night, and the guy was driving us home. We were in a certain neighborhood, but we were driving through it. We weren't even there, and it was it was really hot, and he didn't have air conditioning because the window was open. I got kind of sleepy. I put my feet out the window a little. They were up, they were on the dashboard.
Just airing them out.
But they weren't. No, the window was open. They were out the window. They were on the dashboard, and all of a sudden, I felt something on my feet. Somebody was asking for directions, and I felt something on my feet because I was turning away, and this person asking for direction was touching my feet. And this decrepit homeless person was like, "You got nice feet. You got the nicest feet, nice feet." And I was like, ah. I mean, that doesn't happen when you're in Royal Oak.
No.
It's not what's
even Ferndale. It doesn't really happen.
Absolutely, no, it doesn't.
They don't have enough money for police presence like they do in New York. You'll notice that the police presence is. They have the proper resources here. And it's very peaceful here because they have the police in Detroit. They don't. They can't cover all the area with the budget that they have for law enforcement. They need more officers in Detroit.
Yeah,
I think their response time is 30 minutes or something crazy.
They just need more people. It's as simple as that. In New York, you do have that resource. At least it's perceptible. I mean, you can't go very far here without seeing NYPD and Detroit. It's campus police is probably the most visible.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got about 5 to maybe 5 to 10 minutes left, guys. How do you guys feel it's going?
Yeah, no.
Well, it's so far been great to come here for Thanksgiving every year, and since you can no longer come home, you don't have enough time to come back home. We're very happy that we can come here and all be together for the holiday, which is important, and really glad that we can make this trip, and there's so many people here that are welcoming and interesting, and it's worked out really well. Really glad to have been here for the holidays the last couple of years.
Yeah, everybody, anything else they want to add? Elliot, you got anything you want to add?
Not really. I hate how hard it is to get booze in New York.
That's what I've gathered.
Why is it harder to get booze in New York that everything is open forever than it is in Michigan. Like,
Yeah, the suburb Macomb,
so stupid.
Macomb, Michigan. They have the CVS has liquor.
Liquor, beer,
you guys
anything
don't
you
have that
want.
here?
Well, there's a law in New York. You can't sell beer, food, anything. Liquor, you can only sell liquor and wine if you
It's a
sell liquor and wine.
stupid law.
Yeah.
It's a really stupid
The
law.
bars are open until 4. So I guess, they want you to spend money.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with you just trying to push you into a bar.
Yeah, so you spend more money at the bar.
Yeah, but
And
I'm
that's
not. If I'm set on not going out, I'm not going out.
Absolutely. I mean, CVS, we'd always be like, hey, whenever Mom would forget something on Christmas or whatever, we'd have to go out cream cheese. We'd also get a handle.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
out.
It's like a holiday tradition to go buy, or Christmas tradition just to go buy booze on Christmas just because we can.
Yeah, it's nice that we can. Absolutely nice that we can. All right, and in terms of social media, Dad's got a Twitter. If you don't follow him already, you should. It's at Dad Timpf. Elliot's got a Twitter. It's at Elliot Timpf. My sister has an Instagram. Please don't follow it.
Yeah, it's
What's-
enough.
What's the worst Instagram comment you've had, Julia?
Oh man, there's too many to count.
And it's all from people that follow me and they find their way to yours. Are you public?
So. I was, and then I just kind of put that stuff that on lock,
Good save. Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen,
You're gonna say SHIT? Yeah, no.
I don't know if that's loud.
It's allowed. I've sworn on this once. You've sworn on this one. You can swear on the podcast sparingly, depending on the guest. Sometimes it's not, but I don't care about that. Absolutely. I mean, all right, you guys. I mean, this is good. Anything else? You want to talk about? You want to talk about anything else? You got anything else? Ellie, you guys, have you been in my apartment the first time? You like this part of town better than Harlem or Bushwick?
Oh, it was nice last night just walking around the area, not worrying about getting shot or stabbed. Even Brooklyn was like that, but Harlem, go down 33 flights of stairs to a store across the street. You have to be like,
People are smoking cigarettes inside the.
well, it was, yeah, I know what crack smells like. Because
Yeah, absolutely. It smells kind of like graham crackers and fiberglass.
Yeah.
And I know the same thing. All right, everybody. Well, this has been the Kat Timpf Show. Thank you all for listening and basically just meeting my family. Thanks, guys, for doing this. I didn't have a podcast guest or anything, planned, and I just live with my family, and everybody know my family. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Make sure, subscribe. And also a nice thing to do would be like, rate me on iTunes. Sometimes I have sad days, but like if more people rate me on iTunes, 5 stars, it just helps me out a lot. More people listen, subscribe, follow Kat Timpf Show on Twitter, follow me, follow my dad, follow my brother. And you guys, you guys all have a nice Monday. If you're listening when it comes out and you're a true fan, I love you the most. Otherwise, whatever day, have a great week. And I'll see you later.